Okay, so I want to make a door family. Sorry, not a door family, I'm thinking of Revit. So a door block in AutoCAD. And so I've got a hallway here with the wall that doesn't have the opening yet. And I'm going to measure before I even try to make that using the measuring tape just to make sure my corridor's wide enough. So you can see there it's 900. Now, I'm just going to ask you actually, have you been spoken to in your design class or your studio class about the width of that corridor? Because that's the size it's scaled off the drawing we were given, but it seems a bit narrow to me. And I'd be tempted to make that a metre. It will just, but it means that you won't have any returns either side, which is a bit tight. So I'd be thinking about making that a metre. And I'll show you that little trick as well. If you do need to make it bigger, it's fairly easy using the stretch tool. So it's a good chance just to look at that and a few of these other tools as I draw the door. So to use stretch, if you haven't used this tool before, there's really just one trick to it. Once you click on the stretch tool, you need to remember that a crossing is right to left. And so with tools like this, if you haven't used them before, look at the beginning by clicking on the little arrow next to your command line. You'll see it'll bring up all the text that's come up previously. And there you can see it says, after stretch, select objects to stretch by crossing window or crossing polygon. So the key term there is crossing. And if you remember that you get a crossing window by clicking right to left. So a crossing is green, and you can see there by going from the right-hand side and now moving to the left, I get a green window with a dashed outline. Going to the right, left to right, in other words, I get a blue window with a solid outline. So if that's something you haven't noticed so far, just spend some time making some windows to select things. And so by doing a crossing window right to left, it'll cross over all of those walls, endpoints that I want to stretch. So I'll click and you'll see it's going to highlight those walls, but it's only going to affect the endpoints that were inside my window.
That was inside the green window.
Yeah. So all of the corners here, but not the corners up here. So now you can see on the command line still asking me to select objects. So what do I need to do? Exactly, enter to move on to the next step, which you'll see then is going to ask me to specify a base point. This can be anywhere. This is just a point to start measuring from. So I'm going to click a point in empty space here, just so it's clear. Now I want to go straight up from that point. So I'm making sure that, so I'm looking at that point and I'm going to 90 degrees before I type in the measurement.
So when you do this,
Yep.
and you've got like furniture, you've got all things already in there,
Yep.
that will all shrink and stretch.
You can stretch those together as well. Yep, you can stretch.
Give it a measurement of how much you want it to
You can, that's right. So that's what I'm doing now. So I've clicked the base point, and now by moving in the direction I want, with ortho turned on, it's stretching vertically, so I can then type in the measurement, which is 100. Now if I press enter, it'll take them up in that direction, and I'll check the measurement using measure and make sure that now it's a metre inside there.
So anything that was in that square above,
Exactly.
even though it wasn't highlighted with the green square,
Yep.
that furniture, everything will be shrunk to
As long as you go right to left.
as
Yep.
long as
Yep. Yep.
time as you want.
Right to left.
right left of the green.
So not left to right. So if I'd gone this way, you can see it's only selecting the things that are inside, not the ones that are just crossing. So now that I've done my, yeah, oh no, look, I should just watch because I'm just going to do a little bit more and then I'll give some time to work on it. So, okay, so then I want to make the opening. And so this is the process you should follow normally as well. When you are making a door or any other opening like a window, you should always do the opening first before you try to draw in the detail. So you can see in the layers, I'm on the wall layer. That's all I need. I'm going to draw a line from the midpoint on the right-hand side of that wall there, which should be in the centre of the corridor. And then I'm going to go to the left, and with perpendicular on, I'm going to snap to that point on the other side of the wall. Enter to finish. And then I'm going to offset. So I'm going to click offset and make the distance 450. Enter. And then I'll select that line and click above, and then select the line again and click below. Enter. And then I can delete the original line. But I'm going to leave that for now because it will be useful later when I make the door. So all I'm going to do then is go to trim, and then I'm going to choose the top of the opening and the bottom of the opening, leave the middle, press enter, and then I can choose the two parts that I want to take away, enter again, and I've got the opening. And you could do that for all of the openings. So I might give you a second if you want to try that, and then I'll come back and do the door afterwards. Seems like you want to spend some time on that.